any, basically, let's suppose you have a data on very low granularity, right? Let's suppose the granularity of the data is on day level, right? On a particular day we have this much of sales, on this particular day we have this much of sales, and so on. What if I ask, and in the same table you have the information related to month as well, right? Let's suppose take it in this particular way, that you got a sales table in which you have the date column, in which you have the date on which we have sold any product. The second column is your month column, right? What is the month of that particular date on which we have sold the product. The next column is your year column. What's the year on which we have sold any product, and the sales value. Fine. Now what you have, the granularity is on transaction level and is on date level. However, what if I want you to give me the sales by year? What you will do? I'm asking you, like, what you will do, how you, that is called group by. If you are clubbing sales from different dates, okay, so let's suppose we have 10 dates for the month of January, right? So if I
Yes.
ask you to give me the January sales, so basically what you have to do, you have to group by, basically club
Yes.
all the sales
Combine.
from, yeah, combine or club or sum all the sales from January month, right, based upon the date. And now you will show me January and what is the sales for January. That is called group by, summarizing your low
Oh,
granularity level of data to a higher granularity. That is called group by.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions regarding our previous session? No? Okay.
No.
Let me share my screen and we can continue with our today's session. Are you guys able to see my screen?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it visible to you, Shivani?
No, sir.
Let me reshare again then. Is it visible now?
No.
Yes, sir.
I think Shivani, there's some issue at your end because Saubhagya is able to see my screen.
Okay. I
Click
have
over
to
Teams.
rejoin.
Yeah,
I can rejoin it then.
yeah, you can rejoin it, or maybe just click on the hover over the Teams icon, which would be on your taskbar. If just see, like, if there are two windows, you need to switch to the other window. If you are seeing
Okay.
my screen over there, else you can rejoin the call. Can you see it now?
Yes, sir. Uh, I mean,
Okay.
I can see.
Okay, so let's start because this meeting is being recorded. So she'll refer it later on. So where were we in our previous session? We were in the transform data tab, which is the Power Query editor.
Yes, sir.
Let it open first. So we were discussing yesterday merge queries, right? Append queries. Okay. So do you have any knowledge what is merge query? How does it work?
So merge query or I mean merge. Like we are merging two different file with related to the columns like join.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Like in SQL we are using inner join, outer join, left join, right join, full join.
Mm,
So as we can merge also, for a how
correct.
can yeah,
So basically, like, why do we use merge queries is just because, let's suppose there are two tables, right?
yes
And
sir,
one is our fact table, another one is our, a dimension table. There are some dimensions, right?
yes sir,
So basically, in both the table, in there's one table which is having, primary keys, right?
yes sir.
However, what is primary key? So that
The
is basically, do you know what is primary key?
yes sir.
Okay, what is that?
So primary key basically a unique identification of any record. I mean, if I am managing a database,
Hmm.
then we have lots of table, and every table have a unique identification of every
Every
row.
particular row.
Yeah,
Okay,
ev- uh,
correct,
for every record.
right,
So that is the primary key for that table.
correct. So, so basically there are two tables, right? In one table we have primary keys. However, in the other table, which is the fact
Foreign.
table, right, we
Yes, sir.
have the foreign key concept, right? Which we basically, if we have to do the operation related to merge queries or maybe joins in SQL, right? We have to connect a primary key with the foreign key, right? So that, why do we use merge queries? It's just because if we want to have some of the columns, right, from our any of the table, it would depend, like if you are doing left join or right join, right, a full
Yes,
join.
sir.
So it will take the columns from the other table, and that will be merged as in the new table, right, something like
Yes, sir.
that. So let me do it for you. Let me see, like if I have something like that in the person region information. Okay, I think I can use this particular table to merge, right? Order ID, ship mode, customer ID, customer name, and returns. Okay, so I have these two tables, right? If you can see, in orders table I have order ID, right?
Yes, sir.
And in returns table I have order ID.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
what if I want to have this column, because I believe region column is already there in, I believe, let me check if region is there. Yeah, it should be there because we have filtered region, right? Yeah,
Yes,
region is already there, right? So what I want, in the same order table, I want to see if that particular order is a return or not, right? So basically what I want this particular column to appear over here. It's a kind of lookup also, you can say, right? So
okay.
what I can do over here, like I can select this particular table, I can click on merge query. If I want to do all the operations to the same table, I can use merge query, right? Then I lost this particular table. But generally what we should do, we should do merge queries as new, right? So I think I have clicked that. So one table is order table, another table is our returns table, right?
Returns.
Yeah, I can select this and select this from here. So what I want, this is my orders table and this is the left table, right? And this is the right table. So in this
Yes, sir.
particular scenario, you can do we can do inner join as well, right?
Yes,
But
sir.
at most of the things, if we want all the columns, right, from the all the records from the left table and the matching records from the right table, okay,
Yes, sir.
then we do left outer join. Okay, you can also see from here all from first matching from second. If you want right out, if we do right outer join, we'll see all from the second and matching from first. But as you know, an order will only be returned, something will only be returned if you have placed order, right? So
Yes, sir.
we can also do inner join over here, but there are some scenarios where something is not available in the second table, right? And we want to have that information. So in most of the cases, we generally go for inner join or other left outer join,
So
right?
when we are using left outer join, then order table goes in right and return in left. Am I right?
Okay, let me reiterate it again. So if you are doing left outer join, right? So what
Yes, sir.
it will do, it will return all the rows, okay, and it will search. Let's suppose this is the first order ID, right? It
Yes,
will
sir.
search that. If you are doing order left outer join, if it will search this order ID, particular order ID in this table, right? If
Yes,
it
sir.
found anything, it will return the whatever column we want in this particular table. We have to mention that, right? It will return yes if that column is present. It will search for the second column, right? If that order ID is present over here, it will return this particular column there, right? Let's suppose if we don't find anything, right? Let's suppose this ID is not visible over here, right? Then it will return null
Yes, sir.
for that column. Okay, does
Okay, sir.
that make sense?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me do. So in this particular case, if I'll do inner join as well, I'll get the so if I do inner join, see, if I do inner join, I'll just get the returns of the what will be the
Uh,
output of the same. Can you tell me?
sir, and inner join when we are using, then only that records come. Those who are matching with, order ID is same.
Correct.
Only
So
that.
what I'll get is the details of, or I'll just get the details where the returned is yes, right? Because I don't
Yes,
have
sir.
row condition over here.
Yeah. Not any null condition come there.
Yes, I just get the matching record, which is like I just get the order. Basically, you can say I'll get all the records, right, which are present over here only.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically I'll get the returns table, but I get all these columns along with this, something like that. Okay, let me do this thing. And what is the fuzzy matching to perform the merge? Is like, let's suppose there are this is the order ID column, okay, we have ES, but over there fuzzy match will not work, because that would work, let's suppose, in the if we are doing something like customer name with customer name, right? And it found let's suppose we have Jack.
Yes,
One
sir.
is in caps, another one is in
Small.
small case.
Yes, sir.
In that case, what fuzzy matching will do, it will treat Jack as Jack, either both as small case or in the uppercase, right? So this is useful when we get that kind of data, you can say, right?
We have a
We have a string.
string like data, like in
No,
the
we are always using,
capital or
sir.
lower letter,
This is one
upper
of the
letter.
example which I just told you, that this is where fuzzy matching is quite helpful, right? If we are ideally, we are getting, let's suppose I'm getting in one table, I'm getting the customer name, some as uppercase, some as lowercase, right? However, in the other table I'm getting as uppercase only, or maybe lowercase. So what it will do, if you try to match that, like you'll not get the proper result. But if you do fuzzy matching, if you check that option over here, it will treat the small case as uppercase or uppercase as small case, so you will get the matching records in that case, right? However, if you do this over here, so you have let's suppose this is ES over here, and over here this is ES in small, so it will connect, right? It will give you the results from this particular table if you do this, right? If we know that we are getting that kind of data, then we can simply check this out and connect our table and get the results out of other table. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So we always use primary key for merging.
Yeah, always you have to use your primary key column and the foreign key in your other table. There is no other column, right, through which you can join these two tables. Nothing like that. You can also use region, but you can see that, you know, if I join these two tables with region, right, for a particular table, this particular table, we can have multiple records for a particular region. Over here as well, we can have multiple order ID on a particular region, right? So that wouldn't be a idle scenario where if you are connecting it with a region column, you should go for a primary key only, which define a particular row, right? This order ID is defining this particular row, and this order ID will not be present in any of other rows. Got my point?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, so let me click on OK now. So you can see it created another table, right? What I can do, I can simply call this as, let's suppose we join two tables, right? Order and returns. I'll, so it's on us how we are spelling the, basically these table, right? Whatever name you want to give, you can do that. Okay, so this is the first thing you have done. So in that case, if you merge these two tables, right, you have this table. You have to load this table into the Power BI desktop as a data set. So you don't need to load this table now, right? Because the information of these two table is already available over here. What you have to do, you just need to click here. You don't want to load the orders table into the Power BI desktop as a data set. You don't want to do this as well, right?
Yes.
So you have now what it will do, it will, let me show you what it will do. Okay, let me do this table, the transformation steps over here. So if you scroll to your right, now you have to expand the table. It did the join, but you have to do, just click over here. What all columns do you need to appear over here? You just want this particular column, right? Because order ID is already there, region is
Yes,
already
sir.
there, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So you can simply click on OK now. Now you can see where it is null. It means that that product is not returned,
Yes.
right? So you can simply do one thing as well. If you want to remove nulls, you can, let me also show you. Let's suppose you want to basically replace the value, replace the null with 0, okay, or maybe
No.
no, right? You can do that, it's on you. Replace the
Sir,
null with 0.
so please show it again. I mean, how we
Okay.
replace.
Okay, if you right click over here,
Yes, sir.
you have the option to replace values, right?
Okay, sir.
You replace the null with 0. Now you replace the yes with 1.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Okay.
now you will get 0 1 0 1, where it is returned, where we have returned the any particular product from a product ID. It is mentioning 0, and where, sorry, where it is not returned, it is mentioning 0, where it is returned, it is 1. Now you can also make this as
Data
uh,
type change.
yeah, that should be true or false. If you want to do that, you can do that as well. But okay, that is not that particular. I thought that there would be something called boolean. That is boolean basically, but you cannot convert it. So basically, this is now turned into errors. So you just need to simply click over here, right? Convert it to int, basically whole number. Okay, and if you want to have the count of the orders which got returned, you simply need to filter your data in the DAX, or maybe put a slicer on the page, right? Mark it as one, so you will get details of all the orders that are basically returned, right? And
Yes.
like what I did, these steps over here, I don't want to load this now, right? I need to refresh this particular thing, this particular report, while I'll refresh the report, but I don't want to load this table as a data set. Let me show you what I was saying. Close and apply. Now you can see we have orders and orders and returns table right over here. Just save it. Now you have orders and returns, because there is no need, because if we have all the information in this particular table which we merged from there is no need to have separate table for orders and returns. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me go back now again. Append queries over here. So append queries is like, do you know what is append queries? Have you heard about it earlier?
Sir, not exactly about know about append query, but I know about append. Actually, we are adding some data from other, from other table to this. I mean, from here. I think.
Okay, fine. Let's suppose you have some data, right? You are getting some files. That file is a monthly file, right? Sales file of monthly data. For a January, you get some data, right? In one
Yes,
file.
sir.
For February, you get another data for February, right?
Another
And
file.
so
Yes.
on. March file is there. The structure of those files are same. Okay. Then
Yes.
you want to create a single table over here, right? And import the data in a single table as a Power BI data set. What you will do, you have to do append queries, because the structure is same in all the tables, right? You just need to do append. Okay, basically it's a kind of union. If you have heard in SQL, there's an
Yes, sir.
option for union, right? Where you
In
can basically in merge, right? It would be a column operation, you can say, right? Where you are taking columns from another table, right? And merging it to show in the other table. However, in the append queries, the thing is that you have a schema, you have some data with a schema, you have some data in another table with the same schema, and if you want to append these two tables, right, in a single table, so basically you have the same structure now, and you have the rows from both the table in the single table.
yes, sir.
Okay, that is called append query. So over here we don't have such data on which I can try append queries, but this is like union. You have some data. Let's suppose, let me show you. If we have very small table, okay, so let's suppose we have data something like returned, order ID and region, right? I have some
Yes.
data in one table. I have data for Northern Europe. In one table I have data for Caribbean, right? If I
Yes.
want to have data for Caribbean and Northern Europe in just one single table, I load the people. I load the one table which is, let's suppose, Northern Europe orders, something like that. Other table would be Caribbean returned maybe Caribbean orders, right? If I'm up the schema, like in both the table, we have 3 columns only, right? In this table as well, in this table as well. If we are appending these, so what we get, return order ID region. First, we'll get all the records from Northern Europe table, right? And then appending below, let's suppose it has 20 rows, right? Northern Europe table. And then from 21 row, you will get the Caribbean data. Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What if, let's suppose you don't have the same structure? Because interviewer can ask this particular thing. Let's suppose you don't have the same structure, right? Can you do the append?
No, sir. Not possible.
Not possible.
No, sir.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
It is possible. But generally we should not do that. So what will happen in that case? You know, let's suppose it will create null.
Yes, that will create null. That's why.
Yeah, that will create null. So that is the reason we should not do it. We should only append those tables that is having the same structure. What if there is not the same structure? Then in that case also it will append the queries. But what it will do, it will take, let's suppose there is one additional column in Northern Europe table, right, which is the city column. Okay, and in other table we don't have the city column. In that case, what it will do, it will, you know, mark the null in the Caribbean table for the city column, and for
Yes.
region table it will show you the city information. Okay, but that shouldn't mean that that city column would be on the second number. Okay,
Yes.
that should
Yes.
be on the fourth, the last column.
Okay.
So generally, if anyone asks you, just say that append queries we should do something like we should do कि हमें करना चाहिए when we have the same structure in both the tables. It will append rows from both the tables in just one single table. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is combine file? So basically, you saw when we were doing merge, right? Let me show over here. This is the or maybe that, I think that is for you know, appending combine files. You saw this icon, right? This is for merging and this one is for combine files. Merge all the files in a given column into a single table. Okay, this option will be enabled at some moment, you know, when you have such kind of data. So once you are, you know, let's suppose there is an option in Power BI where you can take the data from a folder, right? Let's suppose in a you have a folder there and you are taking data from the folder, and what you want is you are importing all the files which is available in the folder, right? There you will get this option highlighted, right? And then you can simply combine the data. This would be highlighted. You need to click over there and expand this all the tables from all the files in that folder. Okay, so that is the reason we are not taking anything from a folder. So this is grayed out. Okay,
Yes, sir.
and this is text analytics. I don't know about it much. These are like AI insights column. So Azure machine learning. So if you are creating any data flow, right, or something like that, then these would be helpful. Nobody will ask you about this thing because this is something related, and nobody will ask you about this thing because this is you know, quite advanced thing.
Okay.
Because yeah, vision and all. Let me do, if I do this, what it will do. So basically these things would be, you know, these are AI function. If you are creating, you know, AI enabled data sets, right? Or if you want to train your Power BI or train your data set. So let's suppose if someone else will ask, hey, give me this sales of this particular customer, right? Over here, you can train your, Power BI data set to show them the, basically the, hey, you can also check this particular thing. These things would be done from here. So this is basically, used when you are creating data flows. That would be in Power BI service, because data flows is nothing. That is basically, your online Power BI query editor, Power Query editor, online Power Query editor.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah, if
Okay.
someone will ask you, have you worked on data flow? You haven't worked it, but you can tell them that, yeah, we know about it. We have understanding about data flow. That is nothing. That is just the, online Power Query editor. So whatever steps we are doing over here, that would be possible. We can create a data flow in Power BI service, which is the Microsoft Cloud environment, and we can perform all these steps over there as well. So why do we create a data flow? We'll cover that, in our session, where I'll let you know about the Power BI service. So basically, like, let's suppose you are doing these transformation, right? You have this data, you have this, you imported this from here, and you did some transformation over here, orders and returns, right? You merge these two tables to get this particular table. Let's suppose there are other transformation as well, and you don't want your, your colleagues or your business user to perform all these transactions. So basically, all these transformations again, right? In that case, what you can do, you can create a data flow. You can do that in Power BI service, all these steps there, and then that data flow can be used by your colleagues. They just simply need to, let me show you how you can connect a new source. They simply need to click on more, all right, and they can make use of the data flow which you created. So all the steps are already performed in Power Query editor, right? They'll not have to do anything about the transformation steps. Power BI data flow, you can connect with that data flow, so you will get the final version of the data set. If you're connecting, you'll need not have to perform order and returns at your end. Or maybe, let's suppose you are a team of, 4 to 5 people, right?
Yes, sir.
All of you are working on the same model, right? So
Yes,
you
sir.
don't want that, Saubhagya is also doing the transformation at his end, right? Shivani is also doing the transformation at his end. Bhaskar is also doing the transformation at his end, right? So you just simply do all the transformation in Power BI service, create a data flow, and you can connect with that data flow, so that you will get the output data, right? Clean data already. You'll not have to do anything. You just need to, create the DAX measures or create the visualization of Power BI text flow.
Sir,
This
it's mean that's like a Git. I mean,
that's like,
Git, Git. I mean, team working there and they are push the code, and other team member pull the code from Git and work on that. Like,
Ye- that's a separate thing. Git is a, yeah, you are right that, in Git, like, most of the, developers basically publish their, basically mention their Git, what they have created, right? The programming and all, they can use that language over there, right? Python scripts or whatever it is. But
yes,
over
sir.
here, yeah, it's something, it's not exactly that, but the concept is same, right?
Yes, sir.
You can
I'm
use,
talking about concept.
yeah, the concept is same. Basically, you are using whatever is being developed by other, right? You are simply connecting to that data flow. So let's suppose if there would be any change, right? You have to do, let's suppose I pass parameter over here, right? I need
Yes, sir.
to make change. I have to pass another parameter to another column, because we have passed the parameter to region only
Reason.
for this
Yes,
particular
sir.
report. Let's suppose I want to pass the parameter of customer ID as well, or any other thing as well, right? If I have to do that, you have to do it. Shivani has to do it, right? Bhaskar has to do it. But yes, if you have created a data flow, right? You made the change over there, that would be reflected over here in everyone's report.
Yes.
Because you are connecting with the data flow, which is already there, published as a data set, not as a data set that is called a data flow, which is published as a data flow in the Power BI service, right? Where all the steps are already done. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me now click over here. What are the options available if you select a particular table? If you want to copy the table, right? You can copy the table, and if you want to paste the data of this particular table into some Excel, you can do that.
Okay, sir.
Right? Or maybe you want to create a table from the blank row over here. You can also do that. Delete the table, rename the table, enable load. I already told you, including report refresh. I told you, duplicate. I told you, reference. I told you, move to a group. What it is something like you are creating a group over here. So let's suppose you know the concept of staging queries, right? And your final queries. So you can create a group. Let me create a group. Let me do this staging queries, something like that. Okay, I created a group basically. So people is already there. I don't want this to be, to the staging, because that should I move to the other queries. What would be my staging query? You can see that I created orders and returns table from orders and returns table. So that would be my staging, right? That should move to my staging. I move it to staging. That from these two tables I created the table which is I'm using, right? So I can make use of this. I moved returns and this to the move to group staging queries, right? And these and one more thing, if the you have disabled the load of this particular table in your Power BI data set, then this would be in italic. If you can see, these are not these are in italic, these two tables, the indent.
Yes, sir.
Right? So you can see like from seeing it, that if that is enabled load or disabled load query. So basically you can see that these two tables you have used for merging, and you are using the output of this particular table, and you basically, this is just to reorganizing whatever you have done over here. Okay, and there's move to group, move up in the table. Like let's suppose I want to move returns table to above, I can do that, or simply I can do like this. Create function. If I want to create function, for that you should be having knowledge of M code as well, right? If you are doing all those stuff, so that is a separate topic, and that is quite advanced topic, right? You can create function. If you can see the effects over here, right? You can create function. That function can be used to call, you know, uh, basically it's a kind of what you call in SQL.
Query.
Stored clock, something like that, right? Which you can call, okay, and perform different results, right? This function can be used in multiple queries, right? Create function, if you are creating any particular function, that that function can be used in multiple tables as well, right? Something like that. Advanced editor, what all steps you are doing over here, that can be accessible from here, that can be accessible from here. And in properties you can see the name, right? Name of the query, which you can see over here. Description if you want to do. Enable load to report if you want to do, including report refresh if you want to do. Right, let me move on to the transform tab now, which is you again, because there are all the things, multiple things which is repetitive kind of thing, because there are various ways through which you can do a single particular step over here, right? Group by, I already told you what is group by. Use first row as headers, I told you already. What is transpose, do you guys know? If you have knowledge of Excel, you know it already.
The row to column, column to row.
Correct.
I mean, not
Yeah.
exactly that, but
Yeah, that is the same. Transpose is the same. And reverse rows, and reverse rows is like if you want to reverse the rows. So these things This is quite helpful in Power Query Editor, right? Count rows, you can also do it from here if you want to do it. It will give you a count, which is the 43, right? So this is just to know like how many rows we have over here in the particular table. However, that information you can do from you can see from here as well, right? That is what I told you that not all of these things is being used in Power Query Editor. Transpose is used most of the times, right? Just give me a second. Let me connect my laptop with the bed. Okay. So where were we? Transfer. Okay. A data type, you can change the data type from here. Detect data type if you want Power BI to detect data type automatically, right? So basically, how Power BI detect data type, it would be based on the column values, right? The content in the particular column it detects automatically, right? Sometimes, right, it will not be able to detect correctly your data type. Then in that case, you need to change it from here. Okay? And most of the time it will detect your data type correctly based upon the content, right? What a particular column is having, what content over there, so it will detect it. Rename is basically if you want to rename, change the name of currently selected column. You can also do it from here. Double click. If you're double clicking over here, you can rename the column name, else you can do it from here as well. Replace value, we already did from right click over here, right? We can do the replace value from here, or maybe we can select the column, we can do the replace value from here as well. Fill, that is basically used, when we have a kind of data where in first row, right? This is when this can be used when we have such kind of data in a way. Let's suppose we have the data where we have a column called yes over here, right? This is generally used when we are unpivoting something, or maybe pivoting something, not pivoting. One second. That is when we are unpivoting something, right? From the data is taken from Excel, and we have blank rows over there, and we know that we have to, put the same value which is there in, let's suppose yes over here, right? We have to put the same value in the rows till we have blanks, right? And the same operation need to be done for the next. Let's suppose I have 1 over here in the first row, and till 9 it is, or 10 it is blank, and then from 11 I have 2, right? And over here, like from 21 I have 3, and in between that we have blank value. So if I know that that should be marked as 1, right? Or maybe I have the data related to region over here. Let's suppose I have northern Europe over here, right? And rest of the things are blank, and then I have Caribbean, but I know that every data there is of northern Europe, and every data below Caribbean is of Caribbean, right? And so on. So I just need to select the table. I need to click on down, right? I'll get the option fill down and up. So whatever I'll do, it will fill down the same value if we have till we get any particular value, right? It will fill the same value, search the what's the value in the above cell. It will search the value and paste the value till we have blanks, right? It will do that operation. If you want to fill anything upside, we can select this option. Do you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
This
Still
is
the
pivot
same.
column. Yeah. Shivani, do you have any question?
No, no.
Okay, what is pivot column? So in Excel, we generally do pivoting, right? If you know, there is a concept of pivot table, right? We are dragging and dropping. But in Power BI, if you want to do, reporting, you should be unpivoting whatever data you have. Okay, then you will be able to create a very quite good report, and it is quite easy for your DAX as well. If you are creating measures or columns, right, that would be easy quite if you are working on unpivot column. So if you are getting pivot data, then you should unpivot it first, then you should do all those steps. Okay, because
Yes.
I don't think that we have such an example over here. Let me see if I can show you these things. Let me see, just give me a moment if I can do something. Okay, so let me show, let me give you an understanding what is pivot table and what is unpivot. So let's suppose, you know, how in Power BI we do work. So if you can see this segment column, right?
Yes, sir.
What if I'm having a segment column, something like I don't have it, like home, office, consumer, consumer, right? I'm having the same kind of data in a single column, right? What if like I'm getting home office as column name, consumer as column name, right? And home office as column name, and have some values over there, right? It wouldn't be easy for me to create report in Power BI, right? And let me
Yes.
search, like if I can show you something. Okay, let me do one thing. Let me unpivot this. I can also do reporting. So as these are different kind of thing like quantity, discount, profit, shipping costs, right? What I'll do, okay, what I'll do, I'll select this table, sorry, column, select this, select this, select this. I'm just giving an example on how to unpivot the columns, okay? Because this is
Yes.
the correct data in which we have to do it, but most of the time if we are having, because quantity is a different KPI, right, discount is a different KPI, so that is okay if that is on a different column. Okay, what I'll do, I'll just simply click over here. If I'll do unpivot columns or unpivot other columns, right, I'll do unpivot other columns over here because I selected the columns which I need to. Okay, I did a mistake over here because I haven't selected the different, like I have to, because as the columns are much more than these. So 1 second, I selected these.
Yes, sir.
Just give me a moment. I don't know how it got selected. Where are my columns? Okay, the list of columns is quite very long, so I took it and I don't know why it is selected. Let me select the KPI column again. I'll simply right click over here. I'll click on unpivot columns. Okay, now what you are seeing, I am getting this attribute and what is the value for that. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll simply click over here. I'll give it a name called metrics, that these are my metrics, right? And this is the value. Okay, so currently like that kind of the kind of data which I was getting, sales in another column, quantity in another column, discount in another column, was fine, right? But I just want to show you how we do unpivot over here. That is the reason I did this step. Now what you are doing, if you, let's suppose you are having a slicer on the page, first of all, so you can, if you select sales from there, you will get the sales value, right? If you select quantity, you will get the quantity value from there, right? But
Yes, sir.
if you are having all these things in a separate column, sales, quantity, you cannot pull that as a matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you
Yes,
cannot,
sir.
how you can do that? That is not possible, right? Why do we need to do unpivot column? So the data which we got earlier, which is this particular data, right, that is fine. But what if like we have data something like called 2019, we have a column for 2018 sales, we have a column for 2019 sales, we have a column for 2020 sales, right? And
sir.
what if, so what I'm saying over here, just keep, you know, attention to it. 2018 sales, I have a column 2018, I have the sales value there. Let's suppose I'm getting data in this particular way. 2018, the sales value. What is the sales of a particular product in 2018? And 2019, the sales of that the same product at 2019 and 2020, something like that, and so on. Okay, what if I want to show at the same time, like I want to show what is my 2018, 2019 and 2020 sales, and I want to change that on the basis of slicer, or moreover, like I have to do several kind of analysis. Don't you think that if that is 2018, 2019 and 2020, that is a year information, that should be on a single column? I should have a column called year, and I should have the 2018, 2019, 2020 and so on over here, and the values besides that. This is the way how Power BI works. We need data of that particular, you know, in that particular manner. So that is where unpivot columns is needed. Okay, got my point? Or is there any
Yes, sir.
doubt?
So like we are, I mean, divide the our sales or some report according to year here in pivot.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Like different parameters, sales, profit, quantity, and all.
Hmm. So the thing is that, let's suppose I ask you to give me the sales, total sales, right? What you will do in that case, you have to sum the column, you know, whatever values you are getting from 2018 sales, you have to sum that
29.
with
Yes, sir.
2019 with 2020, right? However, if that information is just one column, right, and you have a year column, then you need to simply sum this particular column only, right? It will give you the sales for all the years.
Yes, sir.
Got my
Yes.
point?
Yes,
Let's
sir.
suppose you have the data from 2010 to 2020, right? In that case, you will have what you will have, 10 columns, right?
Yes, sir.
You have to create separate measure for
2011,
each
12,
column,
13, like
right? You
this.
have to add those 10 columns data. That is not an efficient way of doing things in Power BI. Got my point? So
Yes.
why I was saying that there is no need to, you know, yes, if you want to show something like that, right? You have a slicer on the page which will select sales, discount, profit. Then you can unpivot all these columns, right? But as there is no need, this is the actual format which we need in Power BI, because all these KPIs are of different nature. Profit is of different nature, discount is of different nature, quantity is of different nature, sales is of different nature, right? However, that 2018 is also showing sales, 2019 is also showing sales, 2020 is also showing sales, and so on. So that should be on a same column, right? That is the reason why there is a need to unpivot your columns. Once you start working on a live project, then you will came to know that where do we need to, you know, basically unpivot the columns, why there is a need, and so on, right? This
Yes,
is like convert to list. If you want to, you know, convert a particular table to a list, which we did on that, you know, uh, let me do it for you. But it will create a list of distinct, you know, which we did on parameter thing, right? If you remember, not every of the step, like every of the thing available over here is of useful. If you want to split your column, let's suppose if you want to split your column, right, you can do it from here by delimiter. It will create, you can give the delimiter from here. It auto detect that we have, you know, hyphen over here. I don't know why it is not moving. Okay, we can see the hyphen over here, right? Each occurrence of the delimiter, if we do, or we just want to do the, you know,
Left
split
side.
on the first only, right? We need to select this, then it will create two columns only, ES, and the rest is a 2014 and all. If you want to, you know, create four columns, right? One, because as they are 1, 2, 3, right? 3 delimiter over here. So what it will do, it will create 4 columns, in which in one you have ES, in one you have year, right, which is 2014, in one you have this particular thing, and in the other you have this particular thing, right?
Yes,
This
sir.
is format, lowercase, uppercase. If you want to convert the column, right, in lowercase, uppercase, capitalize each word, right, what it is. For the
First
first
letter
word,
capital.
yeah, first word would be capital only, rest is small. Trim, if there are trim is basically used to remove the unwanted spaces. It would remove if we have space, extra spaces in the start of the column, or trailing spaces at the end of the column, right? It will trim those things, right? Clean, I haven't used it, let me do that. What it is, I don't know. Clean text or clean text, what it has done, that, like, as I told you, like, not everything available over here is of any use. If you want to add prefix, if you want to add suffix, we can do that, right? Let's suppose I want to have t before es in every column, in every row particular. I can use prefix. I can if I want to add something at the end, I can use add suffix, non-printable characters in the selected column. Okay, so basically, if there are non-printable characters in your in any particular column, this could be anything, like if we have kind of character used to, you get some kind of fonts which is not actually readable by Power BI, then in that case, if you want to clean that, you can do that over here. Okay, if you want to merge column, why it is grayed out right now, because I haven't selected, because merge column would be done if I select 2 column or 3 column, right? Then only it will be highlighted. And if I want to merge the details of the column, the columns, the records of the column, I just need to click on merge column, right? I have to just give a separator. I can give comma, tab, uh, custom as well. If I do custom, I want to add a pipe symbol, right? I can do that. If I do that, what it will do, it will create a this particular, you can see that now it has this particular column, right? You can see we have this combines the records from these 3 columns. So if I want to keep the first column as well, what I need to do, because that do the changes in my order ID column, right? I can create a duplicate copy of the same of order ID column and then merge these 3 columns, right? Then I'll have this column as well, this as well, this as well, and the merged column as well. Okay, what is extract? If we want to extract some of the records from a particular column, I can do that. I can give the I can, if you know Python or SQL as well, you can have the length of the particular cell or
String.
whatever thing over there. So you can extract these information, what are the first number of character if you want to extract, a range if you want to extract, or text before delimiter. So these are all of the things. You can try it at your end as well. Parse is something quite advanced, where you extract rows and columns from XML or JSON formatted text. So if you are importing something from a JSON file, and in that case, at some moment you have to parse the things out, right, to get the information, to get the rows and columns from these formats, basically, right? And these are some of the statistical thing which you can apply on a numeric column. Let me, I have it on. Okay, let's suppose this is the quantity column. I have to perform some statistical functions over here, sum, minimum, maximum. I can do that as well, right? Although it's
Yes.
of no use, because we can do all these things in Power BI itself, right? But there are options available over here as well, because if I do sum over here, I'll get the same number, right?
Yes, sir.
So these are standard, like if you want to add, multiply, modulo, percentage, percent of, right? So these things can be done from here. Absolute value if you want to power, it will create a new column and perform the results which you select from here, right? These are all related to the trigonometry, rounding, scientific, all kind of stuffs you can do from here if that is related to you need it in the transformation. So why this is grayed out over here, date and time column, you need to select a date column from here. Let me see if we have date column. Yeah, we have it over here. If I select this, if I want to extract age based upon this particular date, if I want to extract the age of, let's suppose I have the data of a person over here, right? I have person, I have date of birth over here, and if I want to calculate age, I simply click over here. I can calculate the age in Power Query Editor itself, or in Power BI desktop as well. We have the DAX function called dateDiff, through which we can calculate the age, or maybe the difference between the two time period in terms of years, or maybe months, weeks, something like that. That is also possible. If we want to do this, if let's suppose we have the person information and the date of birth information, if I want to calculate his age, I simply need to what I need to do, I simply need to basically, so it will add a column which will have the information related to age in that. Okay, you'll calculate the age. Date only, it will retrieve the date. Let's suppose you have the date and time information available with you. If you want to extract the just the date, you can simply click over here, date only, it will extract the date for you. So this is basically useful if you are creating your date a date table or calendar table at your own in Power Query Editor. You can do all those things to extract, to create your date table over here. Else, I also told you in our previous session that how can you simply, if you have the M code for the calendar table, you can simply paste in the advanced editor, right? It will create the date table for you automatically, right? However, if you want to create it by yourself, you can do it from here. There are several options which will create a separate column for you, and it will create a date table for you. Okay. And time is also enabled. Once you have the date and time information over here, you can simply as we do not have any time information in this particular data, so these two columns are basically grayed out. And over here we have run our script, run Python script. So let's suppose we have Python as well, right? And so basically Power BI reads the data in the tabular format. Whatever data we have in the form of rows and columns, it will read that, right? So in Python we have, you can create those table, like if you want to get the data through Python script which is in the form of rows and columns, you can simply click over here, right? Paste your script over here, click on OK. It will fetch the data from the source through the help of with the help of Python scripts. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right, and same applies for R as well. Let me move on to the add column. So these are custom, for example. So let's suppose I have this customer name information with me, right? And what I want is the first name of a customer in one column and second or last name of a customer in another column. I just simply select from selection over here. I'm creating a new column now, right? What I'm doing, I'll just first give the name of the column, first name, right? Over here I'll write down Laurel, right? If I click on enter, right, you can see that it automatically takes the first name based upon whatever name I have given over here. So it know that I want to extract the information before space, right? It all automatically created for you. So this is column from example. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
we have custom column where we need to give the, if you know the M code, right, you can also write your M code to extract information to create a, basically what you are doing over here, you are creating a column, a custom column based upon the M code which you will write over here. Let's suppose I write if a particular column is having let's suppose segment. Okay, so I can select if. So you know, you should be knowing M code for this. If segment equal to, right, I can give inverted comma home office, then something like that you have to write, then treat as one, else you have to do. Okay, you will create a calculated column based upon your condition which will give over here. So this require a knowledge of M code. If you know M code, you can simply write your you can create your custom column based upon that. Invoke custom function, that is which I already told you, that you first create a function, custom function with the help of M code, and then you are calling that function for each of your table, right? It's a kind of variable which you create in, or maybe in Python as well. You can define function first and you can call that function, right, in various places, something like that. It is something like that. Yeah, conditional column is something like you can create on conditional column. If you want to give, if that particular column order date equal this particular thing, treat that as one, something like that. Yeah. So it depends on your condition. You can add multiple clauses. If this order date is in between this particular date, give it, you know, something like that. You can give condition over there that these are late orders or these are early orders, something like that. Index column is basically 0 to 1. From 0 to 1, if you want to add a column for indexing, right, you can select index column. If you want to start your you know, rows, the first row should be a 0, you can select this one from 1 if you want this. So it will create. So let's suppose if in future you have uh, more rows, right, it will keep on increasing by 1. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
It just basically, if you want to create a duplicate column, you can do it from here. Select the column, click on duplicate column. You can do it from here. I think you can also do it from here. Duplicate column, yeah, you can do it from here. There are several ways to perform things over here. You can see that is also available in form under something, right? Now it is available over here as well. Formatting, lowercase, uppercase, capitalize, add prefix and all. Okay, extract, this is also same, right? All these things are same.
Yes.
Okay, let's move to view. So over here, like that is quite useful if you are working on a DAX optimization. That is way, you know, useful when you are doing very complex things, because let's suppose you build a model, right, and that model is not optimized, it is taking time, you know, to refresh the visuals and so on. So over there, like there are some of the things, you know, and moreover, like if you are preparing the data, that is also useful. You can see the health of a column from column profile. You can see that what is the count. Basically you will see all the information for that particular column, right? These are the value distribution, how many times a particular value repeats over here. You can see if there are empty column or if there are any errors, empty strings, what all empty strings do we have, what are the unique values. If I click on column profile, right, let me show you the column distribution. You can see it from here, how many, you know, 493 are the distinct values, of which 237 are unique values, right? Something like that. You can see from here. Monospace, you will see, you can see the changes, right, in monospace. If you can hover over there, you can see like what it is doing. display preview content using a monospace font. So basically what it is doing, it will just whatever you have there with a monospace font, you will see column quality. I think we haven't, if you can see the column quality, how many valid, so we can see 100% is valid. There is no error in this particular column, right? If you find any error, you will see, if there is any issue with the columns, any of the columns you will see, and there is a red mark as well. You will see a red line over here if there are errors. Over here it is blue line, right? Everything is valid. Over here you can see everything is empty, so that is the reason you are seeing a gray line over here, right? There is a null in every column. So if everything is a null, we can either remove this. There is no need, right? If there are no values, why should we keep this column, right?
Yes.
But yes, you can ask this from your client, that if there's a chance in future we'll get these values. If not, if there is no chance, why there is a need to keep it? You can simply reduce the data set, because this is just a very small data set. Let's suppose we have millions or million rows, right? In that case, adding a column which is not there, which is not required basically, or maybe if it is having null values, there is no need of having that and increase our data set size, right? Because it would impact the performance as well. Okay.
Okay.
If you want to go to a particular column, let's suppose you have a wide list of columns, and let me show you. Like if I want to reach to any particular column, I need to scroll and see, right? I can do it from here. I can click over here, search for the column name over here. Okay, I click on this, I click on OK. Okay, it will highlight it for me. Okay. And what it is parameters always allow. So this is in Power Query Editor, right? If I select this, what it will do, let's suppose you are connecting with a, what you call it, a SQL server, right? And you are working for a client. Okay. Most of the thing, how things are done there, first of all you have to do something on the for testing, right? In the development, like first what you have to do, first of all you have to develop something, right? Then you have to roll it out for testers, and then it would be in the production. So let's suppose you are having different environments for all these phases, right? You have to click on parameters from here, always allow. So what it will do, let's suppose I'm connecting with a new source, which is SQL Server. That basically is for, if you're connecting, you can see the parameter option over here, right?
Yes, sir.
Parameter. So for that, I have to create a new parameter, first of all, for the data source, for the server, and for the database as well. I'll create a parameter list from there, and then can select from here. So once I create a new parameter for my server information and for my database information, I'm talking about creating a new parameter, because currently we are having select region, right? That is not a server parameter. So we have to create a information related to what are our server parameter, what are our database parameter, right? So let's suppose I am connecting to a different server. I have created different server for my development phase, right? For my testing phase and for my production phase, where we'll roll out it for end users, right? I have different databases. So I can simply, going to the manage parameter and simply change the server, right? It will change the server. It will be then redirected to the new server where I am having my testing database, right? I can work on that. I'll not have to, do everything. I don't have to go to each source, right? Let me show you what I'm saying. I don't have to go to source of each table every time. 1 second. Okay, not this one. This one is the source name, right? Not I have to do each time change, these things. Okay, for every table,
Okay.
right? I just have to change the parameter from there. It will change for every table over here, if I'm getting the data from that database only, from that server only. Fine, got my point?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Deepak, sorry to interrupt. 1 minute only. Yeah. Deepak, are you there? Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay.
Your voice is quite low.
Is it low? Now is it better?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. So what I'm saying, yeah. So like we can close this session in 1 hour 30 minutes, and you need to reserve 1 hour for this project also. Okay, Meha is creating project and all, but she need your help. So she told like 1 hour she need on project part. So in 1 hour 30 minutes we can close this session. Yeah. So in afternoon, maybe after some time rest, we can connect together for real time project.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I think we can wrap it up now, because we already have covered these much. So advanced editor is same, like where we can simply see the M code of the whatever steps we have done. If you want to make changes, we can do it from here as well, right? If you have the M code, we need to simply paste it over here, and it will do everything at its own. Query dependency is also like, if you want to see how my query is being used, like region table is used in select region, right? Parameter which we created, and that select region parameter is filtering these three tables, right? And these two tables, basically I have make use of these two tables to create my this particular table, right? Got my point?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All these
sir.
information you can see from here. So I think we can wrap up for our session today, because all these things are quite advanced, and you don't need to worry about this particular thing, because that is basically used for diagnosing, if you are having, basically that is useful for query optimization, right? If And that would be applicable if you are working on very huge data, right? Then you have to do query optimization, you have to see where is the issue, why it is taking much time. So this is of no use for for now. And help is basically, you can have different kind of documentation, learning, guiding, training videos available over here. If you click the link, and you will be redirected to the Microsoft community link, and you can have several things over there. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think we covered each and everything over here, which is related to Power Query Editor. So from our next session, we will be covering other things.
Okay.
Do you guys have any questions regarding our today's session?
No, sir.
Okay. Everything is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we can end our today's session then. If you have any
Yeah.
queries, you can take your queries, and you can ask me in our tomorrow session. So,
Okay.